This movie, as I was telling Hop multiple times and other people, this has been a movie that has been on my to-watch list for maybe almost 10 years, maybe.
That's impressive.
Yes.
It's impressive you remembered. Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Pointless Discourse with myself, Hoppocalypse, and Itisdpayne.
It's the morning!
Bright lights, except my shades are closed, so I just have big overhead lights.
I was like, do I need to turn on the lights? And then I realized I have like light mode on all the screens that I'm on, so it's just like, wow!
Yeah, but yeah, for anyone wondering about my energy levels, I did not sleep very well last night, and I left my house briefly today, and I decided I'll go get a coffee. And I went to a place, and I was listening to, I think it was a podcast. You know, sometimes on YouTube, I'm like, is this a podcast, or is this just like a YouTube video with people hanging out on mics, like...
like us?
Yeah. But they were talking about, they were doing like rapid fire questions, and they were like, what's your favorite like go-to coffee order? And the one, I guess he's a comedian. One of the guys from Smosh was on this channel, and he said his favorite thing to do is go up to a coffee place and ask like the person behind the counter, like, what's your favorite thing right now? And that's what he'll always order when he tries a new place. Okay. So I tried a new place that I drive by often, and it was like on my way home, and I was like, you know what? This is my like chance to do this so that I can have a nice little drinky drink while I watch my movie in the last minute. And the person gave a suggestion of like 3 different, like equal parts of different syrups. Mm-hmm. Very tasty. But I was like, I walked up and I was just like, what's your favorite latte combo right now? And they went, oh. I got really excited. And I was like, okay, I'll take it. And she was like, oh. So that was a fun interaction. But I often wear graphic t-shirts, right? Mm-hmm. And they're often band t-shirts. And there was a person that kept looking at me. And I was like, they must be looking for someone, because I was like, I kept looking behind the door because I was like, is someone behind me, and standing like obviously close. Mm-hmm. And after I took my order, they're like, oh, your shirt. I'm glad to see other people who are fans of the band, blah, blah, blah. Sorry if I was staring. And I was like, oh, it's totally fine. And then I, for some reason, turned into an extrovert and like started talking about concerts and concert photography with this person. It's just like, so...
And then in the back of your mind, you're like, wait a second. There's a different introvert that I need to talk to. Oh, crap.
I know. Using up all my energy. But
that's all good.
No, it was a good morning, even though I woke up to my alarm and went, I have made a mistake.
That was me last night. So I finished the stream, and I was like, I got to watch my movie. And I'm like, this is a 2-hour movie. This isn't a spoiler, because Hop already told me how long her movie is. Mm-hmm. And so I already found out we did not watch the same movie. But hey, we could have the same first letter. Mm-hmm. But anyway, all that being said, I was like, you know what? Let me watch it, because I'm not going to wake up early enough to
watch the full 2 hours.
Yeah. So like I watched it, and then I woke up, and I was like, there was action on the screen. I'm like, not like, ooh, naughty action, like, ooh, that's violence.
Not like us watching who's the director you really like that we watched, and they just, one of his movies was just like banging, and we were like, when does it end? The Twin Peaks director.
David Lynch. Yeah.
The one with the guy in the brain.
Yeah,
that's how I'll describe it. With the mechanic and the...
Yes.
I like Mulholland Drive. It's the one we watched.
Drive. Yeah,
before that one.
I don't know why we're trying
Lost Highway.
Yeah, I was like, we can literally click on directors to watch and find it. We're digital hoarders. Like
we're more organized than we usually have been in the past.
We're more organized in here than probably some things in our personal lives. But hey.
Oh, it was wild going from the Straight Story to Lost Highway. That was a jump.
Like, I did do that on purpose, because it's like, I don't hear anyone talk about the Straight Story. And, like, you know what? Like, at the time, I'm like, okay, I can see the Lynchian stuff in it. And, like, the more and more I reflect on it, I'm like, I actually really do enjoy the straight story. Like, because it's just so different from whatever he normally does. Like, you can still see like,
the editing for sure.
Yes.
The fade outs and
but it's
like
that. Yeah, but it's like it's not like a story he wrote. Like, it was based off a true story and
a book and everything. Yeah.
And
it's a fun interpretation of a biography.
Yeah, and I'm like, I think at the time I was just like, there's a lot of movies like when I reflect on our director watch through, I'm like, you know what? At the time, like, I think I appreciated it, but like, given it more time to like just dwell on it, I'm like, you know, that actually was a really good movie and that I really enjoyed, like the Taika Waititi's movie, like Boy. Like, I always like, yeah, I love What We Do in the Shadows, but I'm just like, when I think about it, I'm like, no, I really do like Boy and Hunt for the Wilder People, because it's like it feels like an evolution of that story, like from it's like they're similar but different.
Yeah, and so, I think it was cool that we tried to watch their movies in release order as much as we could. Some we just swapped because it made sense with the
schedules, and
either schedule or like watching The Thing on Halloween is just like,
yeah.
But yeah, I thought that was really cool of us. Like you said, like at the time we were planning it, we were like, this just makes sense. But it gives a different appreciation. And I think I've realized, I think it's underrated to say that watching movies is a hobby, and that in the time that we've been watching movies, I feel like I'm better at watching movies. Like the movie I watched today, I had active, like, you know, like in school, and they tell you, oh, keep your active reading journal and like ask yourself questions as you're reading the book and then consider things as they're coming up. I feel like such a nerd because the movie I was watching today, I was like, what was the choice? What is this for? Does this matter? And then towards the end of the movie, I was like, I can see the goal. Do I always agree with it? Maybe not. But like, you know, and I'm just like, when did I get good at watching movies? I used to just throw on movies and just go, that guy's annoying. And then just kind of...
It cracked me up because I was just talking to one of my coworkers about this day because like we were talking about it. And I'm like, it's really funny. Like just... Because when we look back at it, like the whole like watching movie thing, like I think I was the one that pushed it a little bit more, like at least to start, because I'm like,
movies has been a hobby for you much longer than me.
Yes, yeah. And I was like, I forget what it was. Like I think we were like, hey, it'd be fun to do like a movie series and a TV series, and because like I think it was just at the time I think we were getting, like we looked back in fondness of what we did before. But I think like we were
chaotic.
A little too chaotic, and it was a little bit tough to plan out a little bit. And then the other thing is we stopped live streaming it. So like the first like couple episodes, I think like the first, I don't know. We probably go to the YouTube and find out.
Like
but it's
10
like
to
10 to 15, maybe at most 25 episodes we live streamed, and then. Because like we were both streaming at that time, and then we realized I think one, it was really hard to schedule with that, and then because like sometimes our schedules were different. It was in the middle of COVID. I still had to keep going into work and stuff and all that jazz. And then I don't remember why we switched over, but I do remember it was like, hey, we could give it a try, and then we never went back.
Yeah, and I think, like you said, planning was difficult because we also wanted to be able, like, if we wanted to pre-record...
plan ahead, that's what...
Yeah. Because we were like, you had Charity Palooza, which I think we used to do this on, like, a Saturday morning, and you had Charity Palooza coming up, and you're like, wait, how do we do both? There's that. And then I think towards that 25 mark, I was going outdoors on weekends more often because like I wasn't necessarily comfortable with like doing indoor like activities for a while, but I was meeting up with people at like parks and stuff, and that was usually weekend mornings. So we were like transitioning more into not being, I wasn't at home as often, and then you started getting busy too, so it all kind of
And just in case anyone's like, well, we got to cancel Hop. No, this COVID restrictions were lightening up at this time.
Yeah,
So,
it was the summer of 22, something like
yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, because we started in 21, like the end of 21, I think. And so, but yeah, no, what spawned that,
Our whole tangent. Back
yeah.
to you. Action for your movie.
well, it was just funny because I was just talking with one of my coworkers about this, and I'm like, it's really interesting remembering, like, you're like, yeah, like kind of what you were saying is like, oh, this guy's doing the thing, there's the movie, and then I was like, I've noticed, like, especially, like the probably in the middle of the director stuff, where it's just like the way you describe movies and plot points and stuff, and I'm like, that sounds like stuff I say sometimes. Like, not that you're mimicking me, but it's just like, oh no, you've gone past, like, yeah, movies, they cool to know, like, okay, here's the art direction, the color palette, the storyline and stuff, and it's just like different shots, and I'm like, oh man, that wasn't the intended outcome of switching to movies, but it is funny.
Yeah, and it's the natural progression of things, because
Oh,
I
yeah.
know I also read a lot, and we have our bookish episodes, and sometimes people will talk to me about books, and I'm like, this is my funny story. The people came to one of our book clubs, and they were like, they sat through an hour discussion, and despite, like, multiple people said they didn't really like the book coming in, and then they were nice enough to sit through the hour discussion and listen open-mindedly. And one of the people that was like, I still don't think this book is for me, but I understand the book a little bit better with additional viewpoints. And we were like, yeah, we're not, like, as a book club, we're not trying to convince you a book is good or bad, just, like, maybe talk through it and see if maybe you could get something from the book. And one of the people that said they didn't like it were just like, I think it's still a bad book despite everything everyone has said for this full hour. And I was like, okay, that's brave. And then I saw them again later, and they made a comment that was like, yeah, sometimes you can just read a book at surface level. What's wrong with that? By the way, I'm a teacher. And afterwards, me and someone else went, wait, she said she was a teacher. Like,
Yeah.
those moments. And I think it's fascinating that people will engage with media and just choose not to think. Whereas, like, I can't turn off my brain once I start to understand things. Like, I read such a wide breadth of books now that, like, there's one book I'm reading right now. It's a contemporary romance. Not always my favorite genre, but sometimes, like, having something lighter, kind of like us watching a B movie. You go in and you go, okay, this is just going to be easy for the brain. But I can't turn off my brain because I'm like, I don't like the way these characters think because it doesn't feel realistic to me. But it's a contemporary romance. They don't have a lot of time to establish attraction to each other. But it's not going to be my favorite book. I like,
Yeah.
multiple
No,
things can exist.
I was thinking the same thing about the book I just finished this week. I'm just like, and then I was like, it was interesting, but I was like, it still wasn't my choice. I was just like, man, this guy, like, it's set in, I think after World War II. I think, yeah, because there's like electricity and all that stuff. The joys of trying to figure out what technology actually existed between World War One and World War Two. Yeah, so it was just like all this stuff, and this person inherits a house, and she's just like, "Oh man, my chauffeur." I look at him. He fine. And then it's like just that paraphrase, and he's just like, but it's like, no, I can't do that. He's always grumpy, but he's always, and I'm just sitting there and just like, yeah, no, duh. And then it's just like, as you get to the end, it's like, okay, that explains like why it was doing it. It's like, and like I figured out why it was happening, like in the very early on when they kind of explain something that's going on. But yeah, but no, like from what that random teacher person was saying, it's like, look, I feel like a lot of media now is not really made to go deep. And you know what?
Who is it?
Indie stuff really helps us try deeper.
Yeah, and as you guys will probably hear us discuss, and probably have noticed from all the movies we happen to pick for different categories, like, we do watch a lot of indie films because that's more of our taste, because we can't turn our brains off. But before we get into our movies, you ready to roll some dice?
Yes.
I
our
have to
poor
pick again, don't I?
Yep. Yes, you got to pick again. Yeah, for our poor significant others, where they are dating people and in relationship with people whose brains don't turn off.
I'm gonna vote for the D20. And what bonuses do you get? You get to roll twice.
Twice. That's it. Because if
We
you win
removed
again,
other stuff. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
it's 4 times in a row that we said stuff.
Yep.
Okay. So for anyone curious about why we're rolling dice after we just talked about critically thinking, we also like to take that into our games and play tabletop role-playing games. And that involves rolling lots of dice. So we like excuses to roll more. Whoever rolls lowest will get to go first in talking about their movie. We have other little silly rules that we've, for some reason, decided to apply to ourselves. If they become relevant, you'll hear about them. Dpayne is good about putting them into descriptions. And
I got to edit the one because I didn't realize it was same movie. Letter.
You're all good. But I finished my roll. Did you roll twice?
I did.
I rolled a 5.
Oh my. So you write your name because I rolled 6 and 7. Hey, it's the children meme. 5, 6, 7. But yeah. So I get more rules. So okay. Let's see. You know what I do like the fact if like we wait until the middle of the episode to when a person reveals their movie is that's when we have to pause and do the
other stuff. Yeah.
That just sounds more fun.
I'm highlighting
what we
stuff
have
for
to
the
do.
next time we meet. So there's that one.
Okay, so you also don't have to do the. I have to look up the random fact, but you don't have to do the funny.
I don't.
Because
yes.
Random fact of the day. I should probably just bookmark this website. Oh no, I don't like that one. Where's the one that I had?
Yeah, so one of the rules that we have is if you lose, you look up a random fact of the day to share. Usually, for me winning, I have to come up with a joke relating to my movie title. But last episode, I correctly guessed the rating that Dpayne gave his movie, so I get to skip it.
This is cool. I should probably just leave this up. All right, there we go. I'm going to just hit the randomizer button until you just tell me to stop.
All right, I will say stop.
Koalas never drink water. They get their fluids from I can't read. Eucalyptus leaves they eat.
I saw a TikTok recently, and it was a very cute creature, and it was basically which one is its favorite vegetable, and it would hand it like a broccoli or a sweet potato, and it would choose which one to eat. And Strider was watching it with me, and I was like, "What is this? It's very cute." And I was like, I think this is a red tree kangaroo. And he was like, that makes sense. It looks Australian. And I thought about it. And I was like, you're right. They all have the same nose and claws like a koala and a wombat does. They just have a particular energy to them. But that's my little aside based on the koala fun fact.
Hey, if you guys want more animal fun facts, just go to youtube.com/Hoppocalypse. And
for my Stardew Valley VOD, maybe one of them.
Oh, I was thinking of Zoo Tycoon or whatever it was.
Planet Zoo.
Planet Zoo.
And the frogs.
Yes.
I can never escape the frogs.
There's so just going down memory lane. So yeah, I got the new phone. It's all set up, and I found out for some reason my alarm won't use YouTube Music for whatever reason, and I'm like, I don't feel like downloading another app to have it be able to access YouTube Music. Everything online says it should, but I'm like, whatever. That being said, I was doing that, reading it, and then it was like, hey, you can use other recordings if you want to pretty much have it happen. Yeah. And so like I'm going through there, and it's just like, this is a brand new phone, okay? And everything that's from there is transferred from my old phone, which wasn't connected to the phone previous because that one exploded. And so I'm like, hey, here's some other audios. And it's one just saying like, there's one just a random song that I have no clue where it is or where it came from. The other one is a sound clip of our podcast of you saying like, "Yeah, heck with education, you dummy." It's something on the lines of that, and I'm like, "What the heck is that? Like, where did this come?"
Was that?
I don't know. Yeah, I could play it. It's really easy to bring up.
Okay.
Let's see. Alarm. Do this one. And then gotta hit this. Alright, I did bring it up at one point. Or did I hit this? There you go. Okay, it's just called Education. Hop is known to go against anything I say.
Yes. Don't get an education.
Did that come over?
Yeah, don't get an education. It's got to be a podcast clip that you were like using.
Yeah.
Or when we played TFT a lot. But it hit me that it's been years since I've made online content. Like, I still use my TikTok account that I was using for when I was streaming, but just to browse. And my profile's like 29. Tomorrow I turn 33. That's how long it's been. So that's funny. But we keep getting sidetracked. Do you have my timer ready for me to announce my movie?
I do have your timer. I am writing down the time now.
All right. So since I don't have to make a joke, you just have to check if our movies start with the same letter. And the movie I watched was Pig with Nicolas Cage in it.
We do not have to do show and tell.
Okay. So, yeah, I'll just jump into it since we had a longer intro than we have in a little while. Mm-hmm. I went into this movie expecting it to be a John Wick type of movie because I remember seeing this talked about a while ago. And, we didn't say the category. Well, we kind of mentioned the category. But yeah, we went with independent films for this week's prompt. And Dpayne and I went back and forth on what the definition was. And basically, it's not any movie not made by any of the big like money makers in Hollywood are technically classified independent cinema, and both of us went through can it be available through our library, and they have a independent cinema genre. And this was produced by Neon, and I feel like now that we've watched a lot of A24, now I'm watching a lot of Neon because I also watched Old Boy recently, and now I watched Pig also by them. But yeah, so the basic description of Pig from what I remembered before I like picked the movie was that something happens to a prized pet and the guy goes out for revenge. So I was expecting John Wick because I did find those movies very entertaining with Keanu Reeves, but those are very much like man has gun, you hurt dog, man hurt you, versus Pig is a lot quieter of a movie, which I didn't expect. Especially with the description. And I think Pig came out around the time that John Wick was kind of like on its upswing, maybe when the second or third had released. So
you can look it up.
Yeah. So basically what we have in the movie is it opens with Nicolas Cage being best friends with a cute little piggy, very cute creature. And he lives by himself, no technology, him and this pig, and it's a truffle pig. So I don't know exactly the region. I couldn't quite tell. It was very forested though, and him and the pig are clearly like best friends. He cooks for the pig. He cooks for himself, and he is very like caring. And then enter in. I did not double check this, but I think it's the same actor as the one in Hereditary that plays the older brother. If it's not him, it's like his brother, because I know that there's two of them. There's like Nat Wolf and Alex Wolf. One of them is in Pig, and he plays this big rich guy who buys the truffles from Nicolas Cage's character. And basically it's implied that this pig, for whatever reason, is like the best truffle pig. The kid is like making massive money, and the kid is like, hey, I could get you a shower with a propane tank. I could get you a cell phone. As he's driving into the woods, because clearly the kid thinks it's inconvenient to have to come to him in his kind of seclusion. But Nicolas Cage's character is like, no, I don't want any of that. I'm happy as I am. If I wanted that life, I could have that life. And then shortly after you do the establishing shots, the pig wakes up Nicolas Cage's character in the middle of the night and starts freaking out. And Nicolas Cage is like, no, it's just the coyotes, you know how it is. But then people come in, steal the pig. Thankfully, for anyone who has sensitivity warnings towards animals, the only disheartening thing is the sound of a pig screaming. but pigs will scream all the time. Like they don't have to hurt a pig for it to squeal.
Yeah.
Just by picking up a pig most
Just
of the time.
gotta show it the sky, and they're like freaking out. I've seen
Yeah.
those videos.
So nothing is visually on screen. Things are implied, but you don't have to see anything. But yeah, so clearly the pig gets kidnapped, and they hit Nicolas Cage's character over the head hard enough that he like passes out. And he tries to go into town himself, but he's been so out of society that his truck almost immediately breaks down. And then he walks to the closest town and is like, hey, I need a phone. And the people working there are like, who are you? Are you ordering food? And he was like, give me Marge. And they're like, Marge died 10 years ago. And he's like, give me a phone. Like, that's how out of it he's been.
Mm-hmm.
And he ends up contacting the rich kid. And he basically starts using the rich kid as his means to, like, drive around and try and get information on what might have happened. And he kind of follows this trail of asking people. And along the way, rather than it being, like, a true revenge story, so to speak, it ends up being this kind of, like, slow realization about who this guy was before he chose to live in the woods. And then you also get some information about, like, the rich kid and his, like, part in why he is the way he is. So it's really character driven, which I didn't fully anticipate. I thought I was going to come sit down with my little coffee and be like, haha, action movie. And it's not. And, oh, did you put your bet yet? Of my rating for the movie?
I forgot. Yeah.
I realized I gave you a synopsis. I guess I can do my guess after your general synopsis, too, to make it even.
I'll do that one. I think that's hold on. Okay, no, I'm changing it. I'll do this one. Okay, cool.
Yeah, but yeah, so I was really surprised about it, and at first I thought the pacing was slow in terms of, you know, what's actually happening. And it definitely has these weird moments where it seems like the story is going to get intense, and then all of a sudden it kind of just like stops and like slows down a lot. So kind of like what I was talking earlier about, it feels interesting to feel like I'm more actively watching movies than I used to be.
Mm-hmm.
I would sit there and I was like, do I dislike this pacing or is it going to pay off? And I will say that I was surprised by the end of the movie because of just it. I think it does a good job of doing the telling you just enough, but leaving you with enough questions. And we kind of talked about different types of movies and different formats of movies, like over the many we've watched together at this point. And this definitely has that independent movie feel where you're kind of just like, why do I feel like this? What about mm-hmm. Am I angry for them? Am I sad for them? Am I just generally empathizing with them? Surprisingly, this movie could have fit in when we watch movies about food. Because of all the revelations and things that you learn about the main character and kind of their connections to how they used to be involved in everything. Because mm-hmm. pretty early on, you meet a character and he's like, I'm going to talk to this guy. And the rich guy is like, how do you know him? He's like this like weird guy. And he's like, you don't know anything about me. And the guy they meet up with is like, do you even know who you're hanging out with? And the rich kid's like, I just buy truffles off of him. And he just wants his pig for some reason. Like, he's obsessed with his pig. Mm-hmm. And it is also funny because the rich kid has this personality. He's like, this is my city. This is, like, my domain. You live in the woods. I'm in the city. And while the kid's trailing behind him, he's finding out that he knows nothing about the city because, one, he's really young. Two, he's, like, trying to prove himself in a place mm-hmm. that he doesn't fully understand. And in the case of this, it's the restaurant industry, hence like the truffles and everything like that. And then he also realizes it's kind of like one of those movies where what you see isn't actually like you can't judge a book by its cover, I guess is how I would say, because he finds out that Nicolas Cage's character has a really big history, he has a lot of connections, and he has just this like breadth of knowledge that he's purposefully chosen to step away from. Mm-hmm. And I guess the thing that I will say is they made sure to include sad music moment. So I didn't expect it for whatever reason. I should have, but it was, yeah, I got more emotional than I expected, and I personally would recommend this movie to you.
Okay. Yeah, I have heard of it. And so it's, yeah, like, it's actually, when I was scrolling through and I was like, oh, Pig. I remember hearing good things about that.
Yeah, I didn't realize it was only going to be an hour and a half, because I feel like, I don't know, we've watched a few other Nicolas Cage movies, and I feel like his movies are either really short or, like, pretty long. But it's, I think if I saw correctly, too, he produced this one, and I think it has a lot of heart to it that oh, yeah, 2021 is when this came out. So I think this is about the John Wick time frame.
It's between 3 and 4.
Okay. And I'm double checking. And yes, the same kid that plays the older brother in Hereditary is in Pig.
Yes, I did see that as well. Yeah, I was looking at all that, and then I was listening, but then my brain did the thing where it's like, hey, I just remembered this random thing, and I'm not letting you do anything until you... I had to pay my electric bill. So like,
it do be like that.
I was like, I was listening, I heard everything, but my brain was just like, you are not allowed to move forward until you do this one task. I'm like, I can do it after. No. But yes. No, I did see Pig. I remember getting the same vibes that you were saying, like, just from the trailers of just like, man, pig, oh, bear. But
I do see on IMDb the rating isn't what I'd personally give it, and I think maybe because of that expectation. And I think I'm kind of glad that I tried not to put expectations on the movie, probably because it's been so long that it's been sitting in that like bucket of, right, I wanted to watch this. I don't really remember why I wanted to watch it. I guess I'll watch it now so that I could give it a fully, like, you know, just the space for it to be a movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, it almost has like in some ways, I was surprised that it seems to have found family moments, but I don't think intentionally. It just has those similar kind of vibes. And it's just really, yeah, just really quiet, really soft-spoken almost. Because even Nicolas Cage's character, he has moments when he gets angry, right? Because he is looking to find something important to him. Mm-hmm. And he has the energy to fight people, and they have scenes of that. But then he just, like, has these other moments where he kind of just sits and lets other characters, like, talk around him. And I don't know, it was just really nice. But there are some things in it that I felt like they try to do more messages than they needed to. You know, like some movies are a little ambitious in that way. But I don't know, I think I'm just a sucker for good characters, and I don't always agree with their choices, but I can, as long as I can understand their motivations, I'm like, you know what? Make all the mistakes you want. You're a silly little human being. We all make mistakes, and it's going to turn out bad. But you know what? That's just how it be. And I think that's kind of what maybe also why this movie is something that I think I like, because, I don't know, I feel like there's a lot of movies in the not independent scene where everybody has to be happy by the end, and then a lot of the time it starts to feel like kind of like a facade. Whereas this one, I was like, man, nobody got what they wanted. Not to be a spoiler, but like,
yeah,
it's just like, I don't know, it's just a sad movie.
And the funny thing is, like, from just the inner workings of my brain, knowing that the wolf, I forgot his first name because I clicked away from the page.
Alex, I think.
Alex Wolf, yeah. It's just, I like to imagine, like, any movies in where he's just, like, playing, like, a kid. It's just, like, Toni Collette just is, like, flying in the background, like, just off camera, just like, you better not mess up, otherwise I'm going to get you.
Yeah, and he's not even meant to play a character that young in Pig. Like, in Hereditary, he's clearly in high school, right?
Yes.
Like, he's high school going on to college. Not in Hereditary. In Pig, I think he's supposed to be kind of, like, if he's not fresh out of college, he's in that, like, weird age of he could have, like, done 2 years of college and is just working or things like that. But he definitely plays that character where he has a lot to prove and feels like he doesn't have a lot of people around him for that.
So this
And
is
then
post Pyman.
Yeah, but it's just funny because Nicolas Cage's character at one point goes like, "This person in your life sucks," and Alex Wolff's character is like, "No, but like it's because he sees the potential in me," and Nicolas Cage's character is just like, "No, he like fucking sucks." And yeah,
An eyelash. Sorry, an eyelash got into my eye, and now it's like, hey, hello.
were you able to
Yes.
get it?
Nope, but I'll worry about it later.
Good luck. So
Yep.
if you're watching in video and you see him blinking a lot, D-Payne's not flirting with you. He just has an eyelash in his eye.
Or I'm asking for help. I'm not doing Morse code.
But how much time do I have left on my timer?
You got 5 minutes.
5 minutes. Yeah, I don't know. Like I think it's just another one of those movies that once again I don't want to say too much. I already feel like I said too much in some ways, but I don't know. I think it's definitely worth watching. I guess I can go into the rating and stuff. So what did you guess that I would rate this movie?
Well, I know what I originally wrote. I think I want to go back to that, but what I wrote was a 7. But I was like, the more and more I was like, I don't know. I'm sticking with 7 because that's what I wrote, but I'm like, nah, I feel like it's much more like an 8, maybe 9 now, but it's just like, that's what I wrote.
Yeah, I think I would have given you the 8 or 9. I think I land generally at like an 8.5 for it.
Mm-hmm.
Because at first I was like, okay, I could go like 7.5. And then because there was clearly different moments in the movie where it was supposed to like kind of start tugging at your heartstrings. I was like, it didn't get me to cry. And then it got to the final scene, and then I just was like, why am I suddenly the saddest person to have ever existed? So like when I messaged you movie done, I just got up from my desk to feed my rabbits because I was like, I gotta like do the hard line in the sand. Yeah. And I went to the bathroom and I looked at myself. I was like, it's a movie about a pig. Why are you so sad? Granted,
Babe.
Babe was my favorite childhood movie, but I am just an animal person, and the way that the movie kind of wraps up, it does that stinking thing, like, you know, the movie, your favorite movie, and there's the whole scene where he's just by himself and he starts singing. They have a scene similar to that. And I was like, you bastards, you know what works. But it's not Nicolas Cage singing, but it is a moment.
Man, that would have been great.
It would have been great. But he just has like a moment. He's sitting by himself and then puts on a cassette tape. And then on the cassette tape, they start singing a song. And I'm just like, he's just sitting there alone. And they're playing like live music recorded on a cassette tape. So it sounds just a little messy and a little, you know, staticky. And it's just like, that's what got me. And I was like, you get a point.
You jerk. Yeah. It's
So I would have accepted an 8, but I can see why you would have put 7.
Yeah. It was like the whole reason like I was going to put 8 and then I was like, wait, I put 8 last time. I can't just keep putting 8s. This is why I failed most tests where it was just like, wait, it can't be the same answer twice in a row. But yeah.
Yeah, I do think like if you're in the headspace of wanting to watch something quieter and you want to be a little sad, I do think you would like this one, like you specifically. As far as like listeners, I don't know all of your tastes, but
I'm on record multiple times saying depressing movies are my favorite.
Yeah, and I think the thing that surprised me a lot is I think other times I've seen Nicolas Cage in movies, he's a very loud character, right?
Very manic.
Yeah, very manic, very in your face, and he has small moments of that but it makes sense in the scenes, and it's kind of interesting seeing him feel stoic and feel more of a contemplative character, because it's again one of those things like a lot of these people that we watch are very talented. I couldn't do their job, but sometimes they take roles and you're just like, huh. And this feels like just I think a nice role for him, in my personal opinion.
Hey, that's this whole podcast.
Opinions.
That's why we should have renamed it. In my personal opinion, that probably is a podcast.
Probably. But yeah, so I think that's all I'll say about the movie for
Okay.
now.
You relinquish the rest of your time.
I do. Especially because
Okay.
we had the longer intro.
Also, I realized we never made the rule.
Oh, yes, I gotta make another roll. So while you introduce your movie, I can try and make up a new roll.
Okay. Or if you come up with half of it when I'm done mine,
We can try and fill
we
in the
can
other
finish
half.
it. Okay, so I'm rating.
Oh, I have an easy one.
Uh.
The rule I write is you can't skip your joke or fun fact more than, what do you think? 3 times? 2
Sure.
times?
We'll do this. Yeah. Here, I'll roll a d6. It'll be that many times.
Okay.
I just rolled a 6.
That's kind of excessive.
Okay, we'll do 3.
Easy enough rule.
Yep.
So,
All right, let me reset the time here. All right. So, this movie, as I was telling Hop multiple times and other people, this has been a movie that has been on my to watch list for maybe almost 10 years, maybe.
that's impressive.
Yes,
It's impressive you remembered.
Yes. Well, it's like it's been on my watch list, and then I would forget, and then I would remember again, and then when I saw it on Canopy, I was like, okay, this is what I have to watch. And I watched a movie from 2002 called City of God. It is all in Spanish. It's in Portuguese, and I'll give the quick synopsis of it. And then I'll let you write your vote in, or
Yeah.
you
Yeah, you
whatever.
can do your synopsis since I
Yes.
did the synopsis for.
So this movie is it is a movie that starts it takes place between the late 1960s to the early 1980s, and we are following is being narrated by a boy named Rocket. Where pretty much it goes from his childhood to young adult, as he goes older, of living in the slums of, the Rio de Janeiro, which is it's a real place. It's called, I'm gonna butcher it in Spanish. It's a Cicada de Deus, which is City of God. It is
name
a
of the
real
movie.
place, yeah, and it's right near the Rio de Janeiro, which I'm probably butchered that. Also known as Rio. It's where the statue of Christ is on the mountain. And it's so pretty much it is in the slums of this place as like at that point they're telling pretty much everyone in Brazil like, hey, or like in that area, go there. There will be things to be taken care of. And while people are going there and finding like pretty much restarting their lives and getting things together, as like it was like a world economic crash, I think, at that time, or it was rough going.
There's been a lot of changes in political hands, so
Yeah, so they were doing that, and it follows like a bunch of these like boys in that are living in the outskirts. It says the suburbs, but it's very much like the slums and stuff where crime is high, and pretty much he has this dream of being a photographer, and from there he is telling the story of like what he's watching and what he's seeing in these slums. He's like, hey, like we open up with him like just like this gang comes up and he's like, oh man, if they find me they're gonna kill me, and then it's like the gang leader comes out and you're just like at the moment we have no clue who he is, but it's just like, hey, and then it's just like, oh no, and he's like scared out of his wits, and it's like this whole gang with like guns come out, and then behind him all these policemen come out, and he's just like, what do I do? And they're like, and then he's like, hey, but to tell this, I need to explain this. And so it goes back from there, like 30 years about, like 20, 30 years, and be like, okay, these are where these characters started, and it's like how they got started moving forward, and it's just like it told all these stories and how everything is connected, of just how what started off as petty crime and all this stuff, like made these two boys, like these two different boys, like turn to like drugs and crime and their friendship, and how they became like these gang overlord drug dealers like of the city, and like how one had dreams of becoming the city ruler and the other one was just there for a good time. And then there's like other people, and it's really hard to give a quick synopsis, but it's just overall it is all these different lives in these suburbs that are connected in some way by like the most like simplest of things that you don't realize how they're connected and how they go forward until like we see like just the passage of time continue. And that's kind of what this movie is. Like I don't think I'm doing a good job, but it's it is
a lot of interwoven.
Yeah, it's an interwoven crime movie, all in Spanish. So
I can see why if you were tired, you're like, I can only watch some of this because I have to read and keep like be fully awake.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I split it up in two different things. I will say, do not let my falling asleep in the movie, because it was like 1 a.m. Mess with your scoring, but
I put a guess a little bit after you mentioned that it was interwoven. So
okay, that's what I figured. I saw the corner of my eye movement. I was like, okay, I think I said what I needed to. But I'm gonna say real quick before we get into it, though, just a couple of warnings. For anyone who wants to watch this movie, right from the get-go, it shows a chicken being butchered. So it's like a chicken being, like, it's alive, they're killing it, they're taking off all the feathers and all that stuff. It's like, I'm like, oh, well, that's something right at the start. But
surprisingly, where my movie is about an animal getting, like, harmed, I don't see anything on screen, but you're just like, hello.
Yeah, I was like, oh, okay. And from what I can remember, like, that's the only on-screen animal violence that's there. It does come back later, but it's with context of that opening scene, if that makes sense. Which I guess it doesn't if you never watched it, but it's not to the same extent as the first one, as the first time you see it. But yeah, so we see this, and then the other thing is that there is a lot of it definitely shows the depravity of humanity, because there's a lot of drug use, there's a lot of crime, violent and non-violent, a lot of like drug abuse to physical abuse. There's also one scene of a rape that it is real quick. It's not graphic, but you don't see the action that's happening,
but you definitely can know it's happening.
But they do something with the camera where it's pretty much you're the point of view of the woman. And it's not long, and it took me a second, because like the editing in this movie is really good, and it's just like, it's one of those things, like, just I'll tell people what it is right now, because it's like, you know what's happening. I don't remember if you hear any, like, it kind of goes in and out, the audio, but it's like the camera's right there, and then the person doing the action, their chest is kind of hitting the camera, so it's just like
the rhythm of it is
it's
portrayed.
like
okay.
It's maybe like it fades in 2 at most 3 times, and then we go to a different character who is the boyfriend of the person being assaulted, and we don't,
very heavy movie.
yes. But all right, but yeah, those are the big things. Lots of murder, lots of death, a lot of gun shooting, and all that stuff. But yeah, it was one of those things where, as watching this movie, it's interesting because like you're right next to Rio. Like whenever we have a movie that like is in that region, you see that statue. You see like some of the other things of the Rio de Janeiro, of just showing off like kind of how beautiful that city is and all that stuff. And I remember when I heard people talk about this, like they would say like there's this beautiful city like right over there. You don't see any of it. You don't see any of that city. You don't see the statue. They don't show the statue at all. Nothing of it. You are in the slums the whole movie. And it is really interesting because like they are from that area. And I could see yeah, they're both everyone in there, they're like I think the person is from Brazil, or everyone is from South America pretty much. And it's just like, hey, if this was an American or a European director, I could very much believe that there would be an establishing shot of like a sky view of showing the statue, the city. It's like, no, like we are in the slums, like walking around from the beginning to the end.
Yeah, the point of the view of the people that live there versus like the touristy areas.
Yes.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was just, it's very much, which I'm finding out right now, it is based off a book. And this book is based off of real events. The real event they actually show at the end of the movie, they do like a 1-for-1 shot of this interview with that. When you're watching, if you don't know the history, you don't know. I didn't know. And then it's like at the end they bring up the interview and show that at the end, and you're like, oh my goodness, they did like 1-for-1 shot when that came up in the movie. Mm-hmm. So it was pretty interesting there, but but yeah, there's very much like we're having it's more like the omniscient narrator, where he is Rocket is the name of the person we're following, and he is telling the story as if it's already happened, and like he is there for a lot of it, and different connections and everything. And so he like it starts off like with, he's like, yeah, there is they called the Tender Trio, and it's like these two guys and then this one random person, and the other person's his older brother, and they went and do this robber, like they rob like trucks as they're coming through, and everyone's like stealing this stuff because everyone's having a tough time, and then as that happens, we like, as it's introducing them, it's just like, hey, here's these two people you need to pay attention to. It's I'm trying to see if I can find their names real quick. It's Little Dice and Benny. It's like, here's two people, but we can't talk about those people until we talk about the Tender Trio. And then it goes into the Tender Trio and talks about their story and why they're important. And then it's like, it ends, and then it's like, okay, like as it's ending, we go back to Little Dice and Benny, and then it shows them growing up. It's like, okay, and then the way they bring in different characters, the way it's set up is that there's like definitely chapter titles, and it's like, oh man, that's what's happening, and it's it gives you an idea what the scene is going to be, or at least the next like 20 minutes are going to be about. It's very much, it feels like a book given video on screen because of just the way it paces, where it's just where Rocket's constantly like, and there's multiple times like, hey, and it'd be like, hey, here's this character, he's important, here's his nickname, but we'll get to him later. And then you're like, okay, and then like half an hour later it'll be like, so hey, here's this character again, and he comes back, and it's just like, this is, and it's like a very natural progression for these people to be brought into like in and out of the story. And so it's like there's characters that we meet at like the beginning that have that do actions that have repercussions all the way to the end of the movie, and then there's like just different things. Like it's a hard movie to explain spoiler free in 20 minutes. So it's just one of those things where I do think it's worth watching. Definitely take. It's one of those things I'm like, okay, I'm glad that finally after 10 years I finally watched it. And it is I guess one thing that is nice to talk, it has a very distinct editing style and shooting, like camera work, because it is a very dynamic kind of shooting style for the camera, because it's like we'll be following, and then it'll be like kind of doing quick cuts between like all these different scenes and everything, and of just keeping everything kind of moving and action paced, where like it's you can tell it's a lower budget film, and it's just the fact that it's not in like America where or Europe where that we have, like, not to say that Brazil and South America don't have movie production teams, but it's just like you can kind of see that, like, just looking at it, not that it detracts from the movie, it's like, okay, it doesn't have some of the polish that some of the like European movies have, just due to you can probably get easy access to a lot of the stuff and people. But it is a large cast. There's a lot of people in there, a lot of moving parts, and it does a very excellent job of not overwhelming you with like the amount of people that you're meeting. But at the same time, it's like there's so many people, you're like, it feels like, hey, I'm not just watching a movie about a couple of people, I'm watching a movie about a whole city. And it's like the whole city feels alive as we're going through there, where side characters and like characters that like you see in the background become very important later, and they're not even talked about. Like they kind of, you don't realize it until the end. You're like, oh my goodness, that person was like, he was on camera but like not on camera. Like, if that makes sense. And it's just, oh my goodness, they had this whole storyline in the background that is explained in like 30 seconds. And you're like, oh my gosh. And it's just, it sounds like mind boggling, but it's like, it's done very well. And then there's like other stuff where I feel like it's almost video game-esque, because they have this huge like dance party, and like we're seeing pretty much Little Dice, who changes his name, I forget, Little Z, to and Benny, and it's like this huge party they're having, and like we like of how they're different, because like Little Dice is all like, he wants to be the owner of the city. He is like dead set on that, to the point where Benny, who is more peaceful and he's known as the kindest man in the city of God, like even his enemies are like, no, don't mess with him. Like, he is like the only thing keeping this psychopath back, but he treats everyone like a brother, like a friend, a sister, like everyone's family. He's going to try to do right by everybody. And so they're having a huge party, and we see like how they're trying to interact with people, and they do it side by side, where Benny's with his girlfriend, and they're all having like this good time dancing, and he's just like saying hi, what's up. And then we see Little Z of just him in the party, like looking over at this like girl, just like, oh, should I talk to him? Should I talk to her? I don't know. And then it's like, hey, do you want to dance? And like in that scene, it's like, yeah, Little Dice like never danced in his life, and he's at this party, and then he asks the girl, and she's like, okay, bye, and just runs away. And it's just like, you can see like he's not used to being disrespected in that way, because of being this leader of all this gang side of it. And it's just like, he doesn't know how to take that, and the way he takes it out is on other people and trying to put them down. And so while Benny's over there, and like everyone is treating him well, and then all that's going on while Rocket, the person who's narrating this, is like it's funny for the main character how much he's in the background. Like
he's almost observing everything happening around him.
Yeah, but it's not like he's just sitting there watching. He's like in the scene doing stuff. Like, so while that party scene's going on, he is up in the DJ booth with the DJ, kind of like dancing with there and like helping put on music and everything. And like he's part of it, but at the same time he's not.
He's
like,
not center.
Yeah, he's the voice of the movie, but he's not the protagonist or the antagonist. He is just the narrator. But yeah, I'm running out of time, but yeah, that's all I'll say about it. I do think it's worth watching. What you put as a score?
Okay, so this was before you got fully into like the depth of the movie and also the editing and everything like that. And I was gonna say, like, it does sound impressive that they could move seamlessly through that many stories, because I give extra points for that, but I didn't know that when I wrote it, so I said that you gave it an 8.
I was going with a 9. It was like,
we were both just off by 1.
Yes. And I was like thinking about that. I was like, do I get this? I'm like, no, like everything that they do in this movie. Like I think, like, for you, I definitely say, hey, just look up did the dog die or whatever, or shoot the dog, whatever
the warnings.
that. Yeah. Make sure that's all good for you, but yeah. Besides the animal violence, I believe that's the only scene of like deliberate right in front of your face. But yeah, there's a lot of other stuff that I'm pretty sure like I'm forgetting because it's just I just finished the movie. Oh wow,
timer.
Yeah, I haven't heard that timer in a while. The joys of going back to old phones.
Default sounds.
But yeah.
No, like it does sound. It sounds heavy, but it does sound like one of those stories that you're like, it opens your eyes a lot, because I can appreciate a lot stories that are done in a region, but from the perspective of people who live there, because like I used to vacation a lot in a lot of different areas where, as a tourist, it's glitz and glamour and pretty. Like, you see the usual photos, you're taken to a lot of particular places. But then sometimes to get to those pretty places, I couldn't help but notice the poverty line that's very clear between, like, traveling the roads and leading up. And, like, I know I've listened to or read to a lot of books talking about, like, how the tourist industry, like, it sucks as, I guess sucks as far as, like, resources goes, right? Like, a lot of places say, like, hey, can you not come here for a little bit? We are actually having a drought. And then people will be like, but we give you your money because we're tourists. It's like, okay, but you guys see us as an unlimited, like, you know, whatever you want. Yeah. And we're people too and have to live here even off tourist season and find a way to manage it. So it does sound like a story where it's like, I would probably really enjoy it if I can put myself, if I have the capacity to see how hard it is to live in some of these areas.
Yeah. And it's like, I know I've done, like, through the church a couple mission trips, and it's like, did we go to some of the tourist areas? Yeah, but like, not that we went to places that are like in this scene, but it's just like, I know I've been to places that aren't the tourist side of it. Like when I went to Mexico and Guatemala, like, went to like a bunch of orphanages and like kind of, it was still like, they're not going to take us to the super dangerous spots, like, but it was definitely not the, oh hey, like what we see in this movie here. But
yeah, because like you said, you're right though, with the American lens or like a more Western lens, they go, here's the overhead shot of like the beautiful river and the beautiful statue, you should visit here, and then kind of like try and do it in the story. Versus, yeah, for the actual people there, like, I think, I was talking to people who were from New Zealand, who, they weren't not well off. They were very comfortable where they're living in New Zealand, but they explained, like, they get asked online all the time, it's like, oh, you've been to the Hobbit houses? And they're like, no, people who live in New Zealand cannot afford to go visit where the Hobbit stuff is. It's so expensive. It's such a tourist thing that, like, people who live in New Zealand who could walk there, you can never see it. So I can only imagine, like, you know what I mean? Like the larger class differences would be like.
Yeah, it is funny of like, not not to put
Not
down,
haha.
yeah, like not haha, but also like not to put down like the economic situation of America, because there is a lot of people from either situations they just like kind of get past them, or things they couldn't control, that there are a lot of financial stuff they can't handle, but then it's or they're handling, or it gets bigger. Like I'm not here to judge on anyone on there, but it's just I always find it interesting when we leave the lens of America, and it's just like how rich America is, like even like compared to other countries, like it of just stuff like that, because it's like, hey, you can't go see the Hobbit houses because it's so expensive, but it's like for us, it's like for people in Florida, like a lot of them can still go to Disney. Like
And Disney offers a lot of like things to encourage Florida residents.
Yeah.
To be able to afford to go to Disney.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or it's like there's so many things that it's just like the equivalent of going and seeing the Hobbit houses. Like here, it's like there's so many things that we have in here that we can afford to go to without.
Yeah, national parks are generally like available to people, and
Yep.
you know, when people think of California, you go, oh, the redwoods, you know, things like that.
Yeah. Like even like, or just a couple things that you'd have to pay for. Like there's the whole I forget how to pronounce it, but there's the Japanese Gardens in Philadelphia, and that's like I think for like a ticket, I think it's like $20 to $30 a person, which it's like, okay, yeah, it's
not for everybody.
it's not for
but
everyone, but it's not going to break
reasonable.
the bank. And
Yeah.
there's like same with like, and then the other thing, like the libraries, like there's so many things that you can get free passes to, of going to different museums depending of where you're at and what you're close to. And so yeah, it's just it's interesting, like
the way tourism plays in.
yeah, where it feels sometimes it feels like there's a movie, I forget what it's called, but it's just like the story was kind of meh, but like it was like it was definitely like a very pretty movie, and it's like I feel like this was just a movie, looking back at it now, to like boost tourism in Venice. I don't even remember what the
can see
movie's
that.
called, and so it's
Yeah,
like I wonder if that's
there
why
are-
some of these movies are.
There are some people that make movies on location, and then people get excited to like visit the locations the movies are filmed. Like there are people that are
yeah.
fans of stuff like that, so I could see it in that ways. But
Yeah, that's why a lot of
Yeah.
people went to Ireland, because that's where they filmed a lot of Game of Thrones. Like when we were there, they were shooting like when I was there, they were shooting the final, or they were finishing shooting, and they were like, the people we were with, they were like, yeah, we'll go in to like go to the pub or whatever, and we'll see the cast members there.
just hanging.
Yeah.
Post shoot, yeah.
So
It's always interesting. But yeah, speaking of other filming and things like that, you ready to spin that wheel?
yeah, woo, spinning the wheel, spinning the
I'll
wheel.
start recording so you can write down
Yeah.
the time, and I'm gonna hit spin.
Whee!
We're getting towards the end of the spin, and we landed on a remake that is better than the original. See Forbes article in Sheet. Very specific, thank you, Wheel, because I wouldn't have known to check there.
Oh, wait, was this? Oh, yeah, that's another me. Yeah, so
I haven't thought about movie remakes in a long time.
me neither. And the first one I didn't realize was a remake.
Oh, I guess I did think about a remake because I watched Old Boy, and we were talking about like
Oh,
Old
yeah.
Boy, Spike Lee versus the Korean one that I had watched.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's.
I'll have to look at this list.
I'm looking at the list now, and I'm like, there's stuff on here. Like, I know I put it on here, but I don't remember reading it. And I'm like, I don't remember. It's like some of these, I'm like, I didn't realize that they were remakes. Well, okay, this one, I don't know if you have the list, but I know we've said this on the podcast almost a year ago, because we were watching Akira Kurosawa a year ago, and A Fistful of Dollars. I don't know if I would agree if that's better than Seven Samurai, but I haven't watched it. Oh, okay. Yeah, it's just funny scrolling through this, because now there's things that I have seen, like Little Shop of Horrors. I didn't realize that was a remake. Oh.
Yeah, I saw on Canopy that it has the different
Yeah.
versions.
Yeah. So
I've seen some of these.
Yeah, so have
As I
I.
like start looking through the list.
So have I. I'm just like, I'm scrolling through and I'm like, oh, well, you definitely see number 7.
Let me scroll. Oh, there's a movie on here that's been on my list. Oh, we've talked about number 7 a lot.
Number 7 has shown up on the podcast multiple times. So, hey, guys, it's not showing up this time. It's The Thing is number 7. But, yeah, so we'll be doing that. We didn't hit any other timer markers. So, and we also got to skedaddle because Hop is a very important woman today. So,
I'm a busy lady.
Yep. But anyway, thank you everyone for hanging out. Hopefully this wasn't too insane and quick for our normals. But anyway, thank you everyone for hanging out. And yeah, let us know, is there an indie movie that we should check out? There's probably a high chance we watched it and didn't realize that it was indie. So, but yes, join us next time, and yeah, see you next week. Peace.